All right, folks, welcome back. Finally, some new Dwarf Fortress content. The new version has come out. It's just the very first part. It's kind of the foundation of the villain update. But it has added some new things. I'm going to talk about it as we jump in, but let's get started with a new party. Because what we have now is the ability not only to customize our character a lot more, and I'll show you all those options, but we can also choose the starting equipment, what mounts they have, and add additional party members, which is pretty neat. So they count off a couple weeks here, and you see the first couple screens are going to be pretty much exactly the same. We got our, choose your character. I'm going to start with, let's say, human demigod. I've messed around in this world a little bit, and I've been messing around with this update so I can actually show you some of the stuff I've managed to figure out and what's new. So after we choose our starting civilization, now we get to a new screen. You can see there's these different tabs on the top, and we'll be going through those one by one. The first thing you start with now is you can actually choose which site, town, fortress, whatever you want to start from within your starting civilization. We'll just go with the first one, Boyish Lines. I'm familiar with the area. That's where most of my other Avengers, I think, retired. And if I hit right, now we get over to occupation. So, I mean, as you can see, it's pretty much every occupation in Fortress mode is available here. And let's see, just for fun, I'll choose Hunter. And I'll show you what that does later when we get into skills. The last little screen here is beliefs for this section. And you can choose specifically what what deity you want to worship. You can also choose the level of your worship. So let's say, yeah, that sounds good. Setsu, the puzzling god of the stars. Down here, you'll see W is believe, Q is doubt. So we're already at dubious. If we hit W, we'll move up to casual. If we hit Q, we'll go back down to dubious. And your other options are just plain old worshiper, faithful, and ardent. Okay. We'll hit Y and we'll go to skills. Skills is the same as usual. I'm just going to put some random stuff in here because it's not really going to matter for what we're doing today. Now you'll notice when we go over to the skills part, though, we start as a talented crossbowman, master ambusher, and talented dodger. And that's because of our occupation. Pretty self-explanatory. What I think is really neat is despite the fact, let's look at master ambusher. If we wanted to be, let's say, a master tracker, it's going to take us a bunch of points to get up to that, so we save that. But if we want to go past that, it's going to cost 17 to add to go up to the next level. Whereas the ones that you start with, based on your occupation, start at 5, so which is the minimum, and you can get up to legendary, just by bumping it up twice. And you can be a legendary ambusher and still have 143 points left over if you're a deity. Same with, dodging and stuff. You can get a lot higher without having to spend all your points. The other thing I want to show you is Rider is now a new thing. You need at least 1 point in Rider, and I haven't seen anything to indicate that more points is any better. But you do need 1 point in it if you want to ride any of your mounts, so don't forget to do that. And I don't really care about his skills. Again, we're not really going to be doing anything with these guys. However, I might give him a sword just in case. Okay, appearance, personality, all the same stuff. Didn't notice any differences, so we're just going to skip over those. Here's the equipment screen. And if you're familiar with preparing carefully for Dwarf Fortress Embark, then this is the exact same screen. You have the stuff you're starting with here on the left. You can hit plus to get more of it. You can hit minus to get rid of it. You can hit N to go to this screen where you can add things to your starting equipment. And all these categories here are the exact same ones that are for Fortress mode. So if you really wanted to, you could bring a bunch of lye or charcoal with you, despite the fact they have no use in adventure mode. But the things you're probably most interested in are going to be things like weapons. Let's grab an iron scimitar, sure. And stuff like ammo, perhaps more food. Never a bad idea. Here's all of our armor down here, the bodywear, headwear, so on and so forth. But I'm not going to worry with adding much more to that. What I do want to show you is just like with the belief stuff, we have W and Q down here to increase or decrease the quality of our equipment. So Iron Scimitar costs 140 if we hit W, so that cost us 140 in our points, but it brought it up to well crafted. And then for 280 more, we can get to finely crafted, so on and so forth, and get all the way up to masterful if we had the points for it. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Let's add that. Actually, if we go to weapons and we add something that's a little cheaper, is there any copper ones? Yeah. So if we do a copper scimitar, we can bump that all the way up to masterful because it doesn't cost all that much to do so. All right, if we hit Y, we'll go to the last one, mounts and pets. And what's available here, just like in Fortress mode, is going to be based on your civilization for that character. So let's just go down. We got plenty of points, but I'm just going to grab a horse for our human right now. So if we hit Y, and quickly, this is also a way, I guess, to bring food with you. I haven't found an easy way to just like immediately kill and butcher one of your pets. You probably wouldn't like this because all these are pets. They come named. But you can just start fighting them and kill them, and then you have some food for yourself, if that's something that appeals to you. So if I hit Y right now, we would start with our human, Odie, and his horse, Mel. I like that quite a bit. We also notice we got a capital N up here. And if you do that, we can add another character to our party, and we go through the exact same screens all over again. So let's have a demigod crowman, why the heck not? And he can start from the ambiguous skins, because that sounds amazing. And yeah, that seems to be an elven civilization. He's going to start in a tree somewhere, makes sense. Occupation-wise, not a lot of options for our crowman, but we can make him an animal caretaker, because we'll be giving him a bunch of animals, or at least a few. And he cannot believe anything. That's sad. Okay, so we'll just kind of put some random points into stuff. Doesn't matter, but I do want point in writing. And if you want, I can just make him a Grandmaster Rider. It really won't matter. And let's keep on going. Appearance, personality are fine. Equipment, I'm not going to worry about. Let's see what different mounts and pets are available here. So for him, there's actually all these giant animals. And the interesting thing about the giant animals is you can ride, from what I've been able to tell, every single giant animal, as long as it says giant in front of it. I haven't tried the babies, but let's get ourselves a giant peach-faced lovebird. So I want to show something off with that, assuming he plays ball. He may not. And we'll grab a giant raven, too, just to be safe. And I have gone through and I've tried to test out a bunch of stuff. Probably be easier going through the raws, but I just got a bunch of animals to check what is mountable and what's not. And there was quite a few that were not mountable that I thought would be, like yaks, water buffalo, reindeers. I didn't see why they couldn't be. Donkey, I actually couldn't mount. I haven't tried a mule, though. Let's try that. I'm curious. Same with the kangaroo, which I thought was kind of sad. I also experimented with different sized people, I guess, like party members. So like a dwarf, thinking he's smaller, might be able to ride something that's smaller. But from what I can tell, it doesn't matter the size of your adventurer or the size of the animal. It's either mountable or it is not. Same with an emu. I thought maybe you could ride an emu. I know people ride ostriches. Pretty much the same thing. And let's see. I'll add one more because let's go to elf. And I think Yellow Nation's going to give me what I want. Elf seems to have as many occupations, and interestingly, the first elf I messed around with, he came by default with, what was it? Oh, he's a woodcrafter, which I thought was hilarious because, well, elves come from trees. They worship them as their ancestors, so we'll make this one a woodcutter. Why not? He cannot believe anything because he's an elf. So we'll move on from that. We'll throw a couple points into this kind of stuff and make sure we get him. You know what? Let's make him an axeman. Not that we'll really get to see any of that, but where's rider? Make sure I don't miss it. There we go. Just novice is fine. Some dodging. I guess maybe someone should be able to read just in case we need to do that. Oh, and here's some of the other kind of interesting stuff that could have some value now in adventure mode. So Judge of Intent will allow us to have a better idea of how the other person we're talking to feels about us. We can tell jokes now, so we could become a competent comedian. Of course, you got all the console or flatterer kind of stuff. There we go. That's good enough. We'll move on, appearance, all that stuff. Don't really care about the equipment either, but let's give him a master quality copper battle axe to kill his kin with. And do we have it here? Yes. So he doesn't have the war elephants in this civ, but they do have the war grizzly bear. So let's grab him one of those. Okay. I'm going to hit Y to embark with our 3 party here. And here we are. Let's hit enter, enter to get past that screen. Which of these @ symbols is me? I think it's the one on the far right. Yeah. Okay, unfortunately, our animals start inside with us. So I might have to go back there and leave them, because animals can't get through the door on their own. Okay, so we hit H to interact with our animals. We could mount the horse, but we won't be able to get through the door, so instead we will lead the horse. Oh, wait, it's not the horse. It's, I was thinking M for Mel. It's the mule. Okay, we'll lead the mule out. And we got knocked to the ground, because why wouldn't we? Oh, it's so slow here. Okay, let's get rid of that. Stop leading the mule. And while we're here, let's see if we can mount the horse, but you'll see we can lead the mule, so we're close enough to mount it, but we can't actually mount a mule. Again, kind of weird. I've ridden on either a mule or a donkey. Not really sure which, but... what else do we have? If we hit C, we get to see all of our companions, all of our little animals and people that we brought with us, or crowmen and elf axemen with us. And if we hit capital E here, it shows that we can control every action of these folks, or we can tell them to do their own thing by hitting the letter next to their name. We'll leave it with that. And then at the bottom here, you'll see tab changes to the next adventurer in your party. So Odie would be... Oh, we're Odie, yes. So Avafi is our crowman and Abla is our elf. So we hit tab. Now we're the crowman, who is flying. Let's bring him down. And there's our elf as well. I always have a really hard time telling which one of these @ symbols is me. I think it's under the bear right now, because we're on the ground. Nope, someone's on top of us. All right, there we go. So we can mount the war grizzly bear. You know what? I'm going to do that right now. So we mount Zim. And our party members will just join us. They will mount whatever mounts they have available to them and follow along. This is a little bit of a shrine or something here, which is something we're going to look at in a little bit. I wanted to kind of get out away from all this stuff. I'd like to show you some things. One thing to show, when you're on your mount, you do go faster than when you're walking normally. And if we use capital S to get to change our speed menu, you see that we can tell them to canter or gallop, or obviously slow down as well. I want to find... Let's see, let's dismount off the bear. Where are our flying things? Looks like they're both in the air to the south. Okay, how about now? Now they're to the north. Let's see. Let's change over to Faffy. I want to find these guys. Southwest, southeast. Maybe it is indoors. I didn't think it was. I'm assuming, and I don't know if this is the case or not, but The pluses next to them, I assume, is how far off the ground they are. But again, just an assumption. But they only seem to appear next to the flying animals. But, however, I don't seem to be able to find any of the flying animals. You guys aren't in here, are you? West, southwest. Even here? No. Wait, what's that C? A giant cougar. We didn't bring a giant cougar, did we? I think that's from one of my other adventurers. Okay, well, let's try just doing a little fast travel real quick and see if our pets will follow us. Okay, now we're out in the middle of nowhere. All right, so we do have, looks like our raven there. So which, am I on him now? Yeah. Okay, so we are Abla, which I believe is the elf. And we can mount the giant raven, and I will do so. There you go. And we can control him on the ground as usual. However, oh, and also if you hit X, you can go to your natural ability to pet an animal. And let's see. Yeah, we can pet Mel from where we are. Right, so we are on our giant raven. I think we're still on our giant raven. And now if I try to fly, despite being an elf on top of a giant raven, we will go up in the air. However, when I try to control the raven, I cannot. And I basically can't do anything now until the raven decides to land. Usually he flies around like a maniac, and right now he's just sitting there for some reason. I mean, he is one level up in the air. But I can't dismount at this point or anything like that. So potentially you could use a flying mount to get out of danger quickly if you don't really care about where you end up afterwards, or in this case, this is the first time I've seen it just sit and do nothing. Like, I can't even hit escape to get out of this. So hopefully it's not going to soft lock on me or something. But from my previous experience, eventually you get the chance to come back to it. Come on. However, what I wanted to show you, but we may not get the chance now, is that you can, if you're a flying adventurer, you can get on a flying mount and actually control where the mount goes. So I think that's, at least that's kind of neat, but it would be nice if you could actually control your flying mounts. Okay, I do not feel good about this. I don't know if we're gonna, I might have soft locked it. But that was pretty much all I did want to show you with the mounts, and at least I want to show a little more of the party stuff off. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to get the chance. That's a shame. This was going so well. Alright, I'm going to kill Dwarf Fortress. It even lets me. Okay, let's go to this then. Here, I'll move that off the screen. Dwarf Fortress can die. There we go. And I will just bring it back real quick. So, what else can I think I might be able to show you the rest of the stuff from this character, because I did want to show you this character because it took me forever to find a shrine that actually had the divination dice on it, but I finally did, and here's where I found it. I made a little pocket world and hoping that would be easier. So Toady said that about half of the shrines would have the divination dice on it, and I guess some of the temples might as well, but it would be in the basement with the artifacts. I went into a few temples. I didn't find any basements with artifacts in them, let alone dice in it. So, but this one I found in a monastery. That's what these circles are on the main map. And these are the buildings of the monastery. So this is one site right here. I found it just as I was leaving. This is the monastery site. I just happened to stumble across it over here, just out in the middle of some snow by itself. Just like that. I just happened to see the statue and was like, oh, you know, I'll go check that out. And it actually happens to have a chariot dodecahedral die on it. So, before I show you what the dice does, I do want to show the rest of the stuff, at least with this mount, which isn't going to be much. So I think the one thing I didn't show you is that we can put things on our mount. So if we hit P, which is the normal put command, we don't really have a whole heck of a lot to put anywhere, do we? Let's say we don't want to carry around our water skin full of ice. We hit C, and first option there is we put on Timta, our horse, or set it on the silver pedestal, I guess, as well. But let's put it on our horse. There you go. And I assume it's R to... Actually, I have no idea how to remove it. I haven't tried that yet. How would you do that? Maybe you get on top of your horse? Oh, where you going, horse? You're freaking out, man. That's actually a really interesting question. So if I mount him, can I use G to grab? I can. So you might have to mount to get it, or at least be able to get on the same tile as your horse. So yeah, we'll get our water skin back. Okay. Another thing I noticed with mounts after fast traveling is that sometimes, actually most of the time, I can't move for quite a while. Kind of like with that Raven we were on. I can hit a bunch of stuff, but at least in that case, I can get off and I can still lead it around, but I can't control it while I'm on its back for a while. And I don't know if it's time-based or if it's the number of keys I hit. Like, I don't know, but I just hit all my direction keys until he finally started moving. Now I just dismount and hit H and do lead, and I move him around for a while, and then I jump on his back and go. So I think that's pretty much it with the mount stuff. Let's go over here. We'll grab the dodecahedral die, and then we will interact with it. He put it away, didn't he? There it is. It's O. Oh, okay. We got to actually remove it because you put it into the thing. Okay. Now it's in our hand. Now we can actually roll it. That's interesting that you can name it, though. All right. Let's name. Oh, so I was just hoping to type something in. Never mind. Let's not name it. It is now Calistran. I have no idea what that means. Okay. Let's give her a roll. Yeah, now I'm gonna never know that's a dice again. So, you roll Divine the Will of Atir the Last, so that's the deity, I guess, that's connected to this dice. According to the practice of the old faith, Calcistran lands on a traveling human. You've been blessed with a week's good fortune. Well, that's all well and good, but, you know, when you're ahead, you might as well double down, right? Oh, right, we gotta pick up the die again. And apparently remove it from our pack again. And let's give her another roll. You roll again. It lands on a battle axe. You already know the will of Atir the Last. Do not tempt fate. Well, I think fate exists to be tempted. So let's grab that die again. And I assume remove it. Yep. And then let's roll her, you know, third time's the charm, right? Hubris! You've been cursed to assume the form of a giraffe-like monster every full moon. That sounds wonderful. We're a were-giraffe. That's pretty hilarious to me. Crescent moon. I don't know which phase it's in, so I don't know if it's getting bigger or getting smaller, but there you go. That's the new die thing. We can grab that and maybe gift it to somebody somewhere. That's pretty much all of it. I do want to show off the Judge of Intent stuff, even though I don't think this character really has anything really in those skills. Let's see. Yeah, he's got reading and writing. No, he's a comedian. Oh, he has dabbling Judge of Intent, adept appraiser. I think he was a trader or something. So let's get away from here. It's not a big deal, so if you're done watching this, that is fine. You're not really going to miss anything, but it is pretty much the last thing that's been added that I haven't covered yet. So, you know, some of the villain stuff is in there. Like I said, it's more of the foundations. You can kind of apparently find out some, you know, light intrigue stuff, but you can't do anything about it yet. Are we out of the site? We are. However, we can hopefully find some people. Oh, we were able to move right away on our horse this time. Okay, there's people in here. Let's dismount. Oh. Okay, we'll talk to this guy right here. He's already talking to us. The Mason, greetings. We will reply to the greeting. And as you can see right over here, we already can tell he has a neutral attitude towards us. He's telling us about some iron greaves that got lost. We can ask him about that human or whatever. Search first in the human actions, a meat hall here. Okay. Could be a fun little quest. We're not going to do it right now, but here's some of the things we can do. We can, that are new at least, we can gift him our mount if we want to get rid of our horse. Here you go. Have my horse. I will take excellent care of this majestic creature. Timta is a majestic creature. I agree. Unfortunately, now we have to walk everywhere we want to go. We can also see that his attitude has changed. He has a positive attitude towards us, and he's patient. We can... apparently, he is not calm. We can tell him a joke. And the dwarf saw the sun and vomited on the spot. And he says, ha ha ha, you're funny. Yeah, I don't think he thinks we're funny. But I mean, it's a good dwarven joke because we've all seen dwarves vomit after they've seen the sun. And, you know, so on and so forth. So if we continue talking to him pretty much about anything, if we just incessantly talk at him, his attitude towards us will go down. Let's give him a flattering remark that he probably won't really appreciate. The goat leather cloak really makes the outfit. You insult me with your flattery, but let's continue on. So it's gone down to positive attitude. He's still patient, but now he's animated and confident towards us, whatever the heck that means. We can brag about our past violent acts. I don't think we have any. I defeated many fearsome opponents. No, you haven't. And let's see. I wonder if we can get him mad at us about anything. What was he even talking about? Something's under siege. The vile fiend. Okay, let's say that is... that's terrific. See how he thinks about that. That didn't really bother him all that much. And it's probably for the best as well. And how do you get the boat spurl? Huh. He's actually, he really likes us, probably because of that horse. We can express our emotions, satisfaction about improving our tracking a little bit. Again, doesn't really matter. So that's pretty much it. Say goodbye. Oh, let's give him the dice. Let's see if he'll roll it. I'm sure he won't, but... Yes, Mason, bypass the greeting, and we'll trade with... Oh, right, wrong one. Exchange, there we go. And we will give him Calcithran. And, how do you end trade T, right? There we go. How kind, thank you very much, yes. Let your hubris determine your fate. All right, well, that's it. I'm going to try to get this under 30 minutes. Thanks for watching, folks. That just pretty much quickly shows you everything, I believe, that's new in adventure mode with this update. So these are the foundations for all the cool stuff we can do later. And I do think this is really cool. Being able to start with specific equipment, changing the quality of it, getting mounts, adding party members. You could really make like a party-based like RPG kind of thing where, you know, you make one character who's really great with all the social conversational stuff, another one that's, you know, the fighter, the other one that's the ranged fighter, maybe an animal caretaker to take care of your animals, a poet to keep you entertained, or a musician or something. Or you can just make them all master carpenters or something and build some amazingly crazy, you know, structure in adventure mode, which I think would actually be kind of fun. It's tedious, but kind of fun. And actually, speaking of such, we probably can't do it here, but if I can run for the hills real quickly. Actually, let's fast travel because it's going to take us a while to get out of this town. There we go. If we hit B for our building menu and look at our constructions and stuff and buildings, Nothing's any new. I built a little carpenter workshop, and I didn't see anything new that could be built there either. But having a bunch of master carpenters, I don't know if it'll matter or not, but you can start with at least a ton of people, so you don't have to go recruit them. So even right now, you could build a bunch of stuff. And that's it for this video. Like I said, I should be making another one at some point that just goes over all the changes, more of a change log kind of thing, and I'll give some commentary on that as well, I guess, to add some value. But yeah, so that'll be up at some point, hopefully, for you to check out if you're interested in that. And I'll see you then. Have a good day. Bye-bye.